discuss it. This is what we do here. We're talking about the Indiana Fever making yet another move, Alicia, because they're FOSS right now and they're collecting all the Infinity Stones. Did you hear about the WNBA shocker that's got Asia Wilson fuming? Sydney Colson Wilson's favorite teammate and right-hand woman just turned the basketball world upside down by leaving the two-time champion Aces for, wait for it, Caitlin Clark, and the Indiana two-time WNBA champion Sydney Colson is officially signing a one-year deal with the Indy Fever. So Fever just keep on doing what they've been doing. They're not playing no games in Indiana. First of all, this WNBA free agency will not let us rest, number one. We literally cannot rest. But also, I love this move. Again, like Sydney Colson is a great player, but she's also a player that is going to add even more to what we're going to talk about later, and that's that chemistry of the team. That's right, folks. The Aces dynasty is crumbling, and fans are losing their minds. And guess what? Among all the moves the Fever made this offseason, this might just be the move that puts Indiana over the edge to championship glory. Are you ready to see how this unfolds? Let's go. You mean to tell me that two-time WNBA champion, the face of the God Dog League, okay, the Aces main girl right-hand man, Sydney Colson, is no longer returning to the Aces. It is in his signing with the Indiana Fever. First of all, do the Fever even have any more roster spots open? How many folks are you guys going to sign? Picture this: Wilson, the self-proclaimed queen of the Las Vegas Aces, waking up to find her right-hand woman gone. What happened, Sydney Colson? Two-time champion with the Aces, was more than just a teammate to her. She was her confidant, her partner in crime, and the glue that held the locker room together. But something changed. Colson started looking beyond the glitz and glamour of Vegas. She's the face of the league, self-appointed face of the league, but also just in entertainment and all of these things she has done and achieved so many things, and continues to find amazing places in the WNBA, including with the Indiana Fever right now. And I'm just really listen what other moves they're going to make, because I love this one too. And just great move after great move after great move. And let's talk about Colson's journey with the Aces. Sure, her stats might not jump off the page, 5 points, 1 assist, and 8 minutes per game last season. But Colson's impact went way beyond the numbers. She was the defensive specialist, the clutch player who showed up when it mattered most. Remember the WNBA Finals 2 years ago? Colson was there, making those crucial plays that don't always make the highlight reels. And the twist, Colson wasn't just any player on the court. She was the heart and soul of the Aces locker room, the one who kept everyone laughing, who brought the energy when things got tough. She was the secret weapon that every championship team needs, the player who makes everyone else better just by being there. I'm excited for Sydney Colson, and I'm excited for the Indiana Fever because they have an amazing player who is also very hilarious, like one of the funniest people in the league. So really excited to see. Said, imagine the content between Sydney and Caitlin. It's going to be comedy content for days. I know the Indiana Fever front office is just celebrating, because that is a part of it too, is content and having players that are going to be good at that. So come on, Sydney, now let's switch gears to the Indiana Fever. You ready for this? They've been making moves like a team with something to prove. Natasha Howard, check. Danyana Bonner, you bet. Sophie Cunningham, yep. And now Sydney Colson. It's like they're building a super team right before our eyes. What do you mean? Sydney Colson is joining Indiana Fever. What does that mean? Indiana is just being so, right now they took DB, they took Natasha, now they got Sydney. Season, like why would they take Sydney from us? Why would they take City from us? What the we ever do to Indiana? X said beat them, but like what the we ever do to Indiana? But why would Colson leave a championship team? That's the $1 million question. The basketball world is in shock. Fans are losing their minds. Aces supporters can't believe it, while Fever fans are pinching themselves to make sure they're not dreaming. I'm really trying here not to crash out. Okay, I can't take too much more. I just said the other day, what did I say? Another bomb Sunday. I said, this isn't it. I can't wait to see what the next bomb would be. Didn't know this would be the bomb. Stephanie White ain't playing fair. I have to say it again. Stephanie White is not playing fair. She owned one. Here's the truth. Colson chose Caitlin Clark over Asia Wilson. Let that sink in for a moment. The player Asia called her favorite teammate, her right-hand woman, just packed her bags, headed to Indiana. It's not just a new team, it's a whole new era. I believe that Amber Cox and Stephanie White, they were probably scouring the free agency market. And they were like, you know what? We do need to protect our locker room. We need to be able to bring in someone who can be a really good fit, someone who can really help to put these younger players at ease, and also we need somebody to be able to play some lockdown defense off the bench, and that is it. Sydney Colson is vibes and defense. That's why she's on this team. But that's not all. This move isn't just about basketball. It's about culture. It's about building something special. The Fever aren't just getting a solid backup guard for Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. They're getting a locker room leader, a defensive specialist, and someone who knows what it takes to win championships. And Wilson, well, she's not taking this lying down. Her social media has been blowing up. Her fans are in meltdown mode. But what's so special about Colson? Let's talk about Sydney Colson for a minute. You might be thinking, why all the fuss about a backup guard? Colson isn't your typical bench player. She's a defensive dynamo with court vision that would make an Eagle jealous, and that three-point shot, pure silk. Imagine those skills paired up with Caitlin Clark, or picture Colson running the show when Clark needs a breather on the bench. Scary, right? Sydney Colson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard, and anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, I mean, Sydney Colson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Colson, and then you also have a vet like Danana Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have CeCe and Aaliyah Boston and Alexi. Now let's break it down. Colson's not going to light up the scoreboard every night, but that's not why the Fever brought her in. They've got plenty of firepower already. What they needed was a secret weapon, someone who can lock down opponents, do the smart play, and knock down shots when it matters most. But wait, there's more. Colson brings something to the table that you can't measure with stats. Leadership, she's been there, done that, and got the championship ring to prove it. 2 of them, to be exact. That winning mentality, it's infectious, and for a young team like the Fever, it could be the spark that ignites a championship run. I hope that some of y'all, if y'all are not familiar with Sydney Colson, I hope y'all, watch them highlights to her, because don't just be like, oh, Sydney Colson, she barely scored last year, she's not good. For the Indian, she is. Don't worry, think about it. The Fever's backcourt is stacked with talent, but they were missing that veteran presence, someone who's been through the wars, who knows what it takes to win at the highest level. Enter Sydney Colson. She's the perfect mentor for Clark and Mitchell, showing them the ropes and keeping them steady when the pressure's on. Caitlin Clark actually spoke on this on Sunday, and she had this to say, quote, "I'm excited. Obviously, we made some great moves. I think Kelly and Amber and the whole Fever organization are helping us to win now, and I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are going to complement each other really, really well." And then she continued talking about Seth, their new head coach, and said that Seth taking over as head coach for us, I think, is going to be really great, a great basketball mind, someone that actually called quite a few of my college games. So being able to build that relationship with her and just be in the gym and work on things that she probably saw when I was a freshman in college. But Colson's impact goes beyond just what happens on the court. She's known for being a locker room MVP, the kind of player who keeps spirits high during tough stretches, who brings the team together when things get rough. In a league where chemistry can make or break, a season, that's worth its weight in gold. And let's not forget about those clutch moments. Colson's been there before, making big plays in high-stakes playoff games when the lights are brightest and the pressure's at its peak. She doesn't shrink, she shines. That's exactly the kind of player you want backing up your stars. We knew that Caitlin Clark was this phenomenal talent, but she was entering a league that she was not familiar with. She was a rookie. The Indiana Fever have been actively building and rebuilding their organization and this team, and they have a lot of incredible pieces. But the fact that they were able to get into the playoffs and be a team that, although they didn't, advance far in the playoffs, they were a team that we kept saying, if you face them, they're going to make it difficult for you. That organization then saw that and said, we are capitalizing on this, and we're doing it now. So while everyone's talking about the flashy signings and the big names, don't sleep on Sydney Colson. She might just be the most underrated piece of Indiana's championship puzzle. The Fever didn't just sign a player, they acquired a winner, a leader, and a secret weapon, all rolled into one. Are you starting to see the bigger picture here? The Fever aren't just building a team, they're crafting a winning culture alongside great offense and defense, and Colson is a huge part of that. She's the glue that could hold this whole thing together, the steady hand that guides this young squad through the ups and downs of a WNBA season. What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team. Make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant results. Picture this. It's late in the fourth quarter of a tight game. The crowd's on its feet. The pressures mount, and there's Sydney Colson, cool as a cucumber, knocking down a clutch three or making a game-changing defensive play. That's the kind of moment she lives for. And now she'll be doing it in a Fever uniform. And here's where it really gets exciting. Colson's not just here to support the stars, she's here to elevate them. Her experience, her basketball IQ, her winning mentality, all of that is going to rub off on players like Clark and Mitchell. She's not just filling a role, she's multiplying the talent around her. This season, the Fever is going to run amok this year.